Good morning. This is video lesson number 1, Economics for Civics and Economics. I hope everyone is happy and well today. It is Tuesday, April 21st. I hope everybody enjoyed their spring break. We have now moved to economics. Economics is the study of money and how the people of our society earn their money. As my parents used to say, money doesn't grow on trees. If it did, we'd all be rich. As some of you are seeing now and learning with this pandemic, that people do not have enough money saved. And that is one of the issues where people live paycheck to paycheck. And that's one of the economic lessons that you need to realize, is that you need to have enough savings in the bank to cover you in case you do not get paid for 2 to 3 months. That's difficult when things cost extreme amounts of money. That's when you have to learn to live within your means. Well, one of the first things you need to know within economics are the 4 factors of production. They include capital. Capital is the money that you use to be able to start a business or to operate a business. Entrepreneurship, that is the ownership of the business. Who's put up the money to start the business? Our current president, Donald Trump, is an entrepreneur. The sharks on Shark Tank, they're entrepreneurs. They all own and operate their own business. Mark Cuban is not only an entrepreneur, he's the owner of the Dallas Mavericks. And right now he is suffering, but remember, he's a multi-millionaire billionaire. Labor, that is the people that do the work. Many of them are hourly paid workers. Land and natural resources. Land is anything that comes from the land, and natural resources would include fossil fuels, water, the air that we breathe in. And of course, right now with everybody's economy being shut down, there is very little pollution at this point in time. Scarcity. Everything is scarce. Nobody has enough resources for everything you want to do, unless you are a Rockefeller, Vanderbilt, or a Trump. Now, a consumer. A consumer is a person who buys and uses things. Make sure you understand that. All of us are consumers. Most of you are not buying all the things that you have, but you're using the things that your parents are buying and having for you. Trade-offs. Trade-off is where you want to buy a car and you are trying to decide between a Camaro and a Mustang. Okay, you have to study which one you should purchase. Opportunity cost is if you go out to eat this weekend, of which you can't do, but if you could go out to eat at this point in time, you might not have the money to go to the movies in the future. There are many advantages for having a division of labor, and that's where you specialize in a certain area. I specialize in social studies. Human capital are the people that are doing the work. Do you invest in your workers and train them, or do you just keep them the same way and they're unhappy? Okay, that's human capital. Now, there are 4 types of economic systems. Market system. A market system is where the government allows or has no impact whatsoever in an economic system. We have a mixed economy. As you can see right now, the government is helping people that needs assistance. For instance, your parents should be getting a debit card that comes that they can use at the grocery store for you to be able to eat. Loaded on that card should be approximately $100 or $125, and then there should be another $125 loaded onto the card so that you can eat, since we all have free and reduced lunch at school. A command economy is where the government owns all the factors of production, those 4 factors of production that we just talked about earlier. Okay, a traditional economy, yes, it's a little windy outside today. A traditional economy is one in which the government does things the same way. They don't wish to change. The Plains Indians, which we talked about, the old Stone Age people from world history, is a perfect example. A mixed economy is where the government has rules and regulations, and they try to help the people. Now, if you're listening to the president's briefings in the evening when he's talking about the COVID-19, please listen to what they're talking about. They're talking about entrepreneurs, that's the person who owns the business. They're talking about proprietors. A sole proprietor is one person that owns the business. That person puts up all the capital for the business. My hair's a mess. When the economy is in a terrible fix like what we have right now, that sole proprietor, he's the one that's responsible for paying the debts and making sure that all the workers are paid at this particular point in time. A lot of these sole proprietors will not be able to reopen their business if we don't soon reopen the economy from the pandemic. Then you have partnerships. Partnerships is where you work in agreement with someone else. It's best that they have a contract, a written contract between the 2 or 3 people that are in the partnership. Okay? Now, that means, for instance, if something happens to one of the partners, the other partner would be able to carry on the business and it would be more stable. And then, of course, you have a corporation. Corporations can raise thousands of dollars easily by selling stock on the stock market and raise money. Those stockholders are the people that buy stock into additional companies. For instance, McDonald's, IBM, Dick's Sporting Goods. Those are examples of corporations. They all have to have a license to operate. Well, all businesses have to have a license to operate. A corporation has to have a license that is approved by your General Assembly of the state of North Carolina. If you have any questions based on the video, I've tried to go through a lot of the information that you would need to know. One of the things you're going to need to know is the circular flow of money. And that's where you go to work, you work in a factory, you work in a store, you get money, okay, when your paycheck comes. When your paycheck comes, you either decide you're going to put it in a savings account or you're going to put it in, or you're going to have to use it to spend for bills, okay? That money there that you're using to spend for bills helps somebody to be able to have a job at McDonald's, for instance, because that's where you go to eat all the time is McDonald's. So there's a circular flow. There's more steps to it. But since we're not going to have a North Carolina final exam, at least I haven't been told that we are right now, you don't have to worry about all the other steps and having that memorized. But on your assignment that you're going to have next week, I will expect you to know how to complete the circular flow. And yes, it's in a circle. It'll be on the inside and then on the outside. Have a good day. I hope you've enjoyed our little video.